Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I got this question from Fernando, and I'm going to skim through a little bit of this, but he says, Hi, John. I enjoy watching your videos, blogs, and tutorials. You do a lot for the community. I've bought a few of your products, and I think they're awesome. Cool. You provide great mentoring and are a great champion of showing many of us the way. Thanks a bunch. So he says, I'm somewhat active on the web and to a degree has helped advance my career and likely have a significant impact when I decide to change jobs. I'm pretty satisfied with my wages and have managed to advance at a decent rate. However, my online presence is a little scattered. I have a blog that I regularly blog to. I have a Twitter and LinkedIn account that I usually post my latest posts to. I also use GitHub for my personal projects as a way of sharing my code. So Fernando goes on to talk about basically how he's got his website that he set up here, and really, the question is, he says that, I read a recent magazine article that UX developers, I'm a programmer, not a UX guy, should have a portfolio, preferably online. I'm considering creating a web page portfolio that brings all those things that I've done in the past, including work related, as a concept, and it will make it easier to show people what I've done. It would be a page that links a visitor to my other online activities and also demos of my past work. What are your thoughts on this? Should I do it? Do you know a better way to organize your online presence? Should I simply provide that information on my blog page? So here's the thing. This is sort of the catch of this. I think you should have an online presence. I think you should have, it definitely doesn't hurt to have a portfolio. But the thing is that you got to think about who's going to actually read it and who's actually going to look at your portfolio. And if you're applying for a job, a prospective employer might do that, but if they're at the stage where they're looking at your online portfolio, you're probably already got the job. At that point, if they're going that far, you've probably made it. Maybe late in the interview process, there's competition, so it's not going to benefit you quite as much as you think. I mean, I think it's important to have it there. But the blog is more important because people are going to be searching for articles and they're going to be reading articles, and you're spreading your name, you're getting your name out there, you're getting sort of that the expertise, that specialty out there. That's a more important focus, I think, because I think it's hard to get people to just go to your portfolio and look at your stuff. A lot of times I think people put stuff out there and they assume that everyone's going to look at and read that stuff, even on SimpleProgrammer.com, right? So I've got a products page and a podcast page, and a lot of people click over to there, but not nearly as many as you would think. So a lot of people aren't even looking at that stuff, and I'm getting, thousands of visitors a day. So you can't really count on that being, I'd rather see you incorporate more of this stuff into the actual blog posts and things like that. Or, and maybe you have this as a resource that you can specifically put on a resume, or you could specifically, if you're applying for a job or you're talking to someone, you could send them the link to the portfolio so they could see that stuff. But just I guess what I'd say is don't put too much time into this, because you can't really expect that people are going to utilize that and that they're actually going to look at this stuff. I mean, it's a good question. It's a good, concern. But I would focus more on the marketing yourself, on really building the brand, building the specialty, because that's what's going to matter more. Especially as a programmer, if you think about a designer, it makes a little bit more sense, right? Because if I'm going to hire a designer, I want to see what kind of designs they've done. But as a programmer, someone's not going to go through some people might go through your GitHub profile and look at some of your code, but they're not going to look at all the projects, and it's not going to be as clear, right? When you look at a designer and you look at what they've designed, that's, when they put their portfolio up, or, an artist or something like that, or even a woodworker or someone like that, you're going to look at their stuff and you're going to say, okay, well, this is either good or not. Whereas with a programmer, it's not quite that easy. So again, I wouldn't be too focused on that. I mean, it is nice. As someone starting out, it's more valuable, right? Because if you're just starting out, you're just out of college, and you've got a nice portfolio, and you show that you've created 5 apps and they're in the App Store or this web application, it sort of gives someone more confidence. But again, you can't just totally rely on that. So good question. I'd like to see what you do here with the portfolio, and I definitely do recommend. I don't want to discourage people from putting a portfolio up. I just want to bring a little bit of of reason to this to say that people are probably not going to be spending as much time looking at it as you think. So don't spend too much time. Like if I had to choose between writing a blog every week and putting up a portfolio, I would say that you're going to be better off writing a blog every week, because that's going to show more expertise. Like for example, if you have a portfolio up, right, and someone looks at the portfolio and they look at the pages and say, okay, you've worked on these 5 projects. They don't know how much of it you've actually programmed. Like they don't know if you've written good code or not, right? It's a little bit more difficult. Even, I guess they could look at a GitHub project that you have and look at your code, but it's a little bit more involved. But if you have a blog post about some subject, or a couple of blog posts that are about some subject, and they can read that and they see that you know what you're talking about and that you can communicate well and that you're obviously an expert in the specialty, that's going to go a lot further. That's going to take you a lot further in most cases. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Good luck, and yeah, I hope you're able to do good with finding your next position. Thanks for the question. If you have a question for me, email me at john@simpleprogramming.com. And if you like this video, subscribe. Take care.